Welcome to Pour the Wine, It's Rom-Com Time, where we'll sip some wine and review all things rom-com on the Hallmark Channel. I'm Amy.
And I'm Gary.
And it is time to pour the wine.
Pour the wine.
Pour the wine.
Pour the wine. Yes.
We have the same wine this week.
Yes, we
that
do.
We've had. Yeah, it is a
Cabernet Franc.
Cabernet Franc, and it is called
The Franc.
The Franc. Real original.
Like the Gary.
Real original.
Oh, and by the way, you know, if you hear a sound in the background, it's probably our puppers.
Our puppers. We have a 2-year-old
Golden Doodle. That's very much.
Is she 2?
Yeah, she turned 2 in February.
Time flies.
Yeah,
Time flies when you're having fun with a puppy. Puppers, as we say. She's a little restless tonight, so we're hoping she's not too rowdy.
Too rowdy.
Well, it's a big week for us here at Pour the Wine. It's Rom-Com Time.
Clap, 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 clap.
This is our 10th podcast. We're in the double digits. Woo!
Can you believe it? It's already been 10
Can you
episodes.
Believe it? I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
I think it's great. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be doing the podcast. And I think it's so cool. We're in the double digits.
It's very cool. We're like the little engine that could.
We just keep chugging along. What's our next milestone then? We got 10.
10.
Do we do 20? Do we do 25? What do you think?
We just go keep going.
Celebrate. We just celebrate no matter what.
We'll do 10s until we get 100.
We'll do 10s. We'll have 10s and 10s.
10s and 10s.
This week, we also dropped our very first podcast review of a Hallmark TV series.
Yes.
We are currently reviewing The Chicken Sisters.
Yep.
The Chicken Sisters has entered the chat.
Yes, it did.
So you can catch our reviews of Hallmark TV series on Tuesdays.
Yes, we drop them on Tuesday.
Wednesdays for movies.
Yep.
Tuesdays for series.
How about
That's
that?
how we're going to roll.
And we're rolling.
And we're rolling. I'm going to sip some wine while you tell us what we're going to be reviewing today. How about that?
Well, I'm jelly. Wow, you get to sip some wine while I talk. Okay, here we go. Today we're reviewing the second movie in the Hearts Around the Table collection, Shari's Second Act, that aired on Saturday, March 29th, 2025. If you missed it, you're okay, because you can now catch it on Hallmark Plus.
Ooh, look at you. You've earned a sip of wine.
Ooh, but before I do that, why don't you tell us who's in this one?
All right, let's talk about who is in Shari's second act. Now, this is not a comprehensive list of all of each actor's acting credits. We have to remember that. I like to highlight, of course, any Hallmark work they've done, but I also like to throw in a few other acting gigs as well, if we're familiar with it, if it's a popular TV show or movie, or maybe from the 80s.
Ooh, the 80s.
We might hit that during this. First up, we have Michelle Morgan, who plays Shari Adams, which is one of Angie's Fosters.
Hearts. She
was Amanda Sinclair on The Young and the Restless from 2013 to 2024.
Okay.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it is.
On a soap opera. Her debut Hallmark movie was Christmas with a Kiss in 2023.
Oh, okay.
Brendan Morgan plays Evan James. He's the repairman / gallery owner / Shari's love interest in this movie.
Some young man he is.
I don't want to brag, but I did know that he probably wasn't just the repairman.
Oh.
Spoiler alert.
You did. Okay. You did figure it out first.
Right. His first acting credits from 2022. That's listed. That's recent.
Oh,
good for him.
He wasn't part of that Hallmark contest thing where...
I don't think so.
No, okay.
Oh, well, we didn't watch it, so I don't know. I know he didn't win it, but if he was in it, but
wow,
he was in Meet Me Next Christmas in 2024. That was on Netflix. We watched that. Remember, it was about the couple trying to find or get back to New York City to see Pentatonics. They were looking the sold out show they were trying to get tickets to. Yeah. So he was in that. For Hallmark, he was in a Jane Mysteries movie in 2024 and Christmas with a Kiss in 2023.
Okay. Good for him.
Mindy Cohn plays Angie Hartman, the foster mom.
Yes.
And we know Mindy Cohn from...
The Facts of Life.
The Facts of Life. Facts of Life aired from 1979 to 1988. And if you grew up during that time, it was, coming of age comedy show about an all-girls boarding school, and my boyfriend George Clooney was in it.
Oh, wow. Here we
So
go with George Clooney
we won't go into
again.
detail there, but he was in it for a few episodes. She voiced Nancy Francis in 35 episodes of the animated series The Kids in Room 402. She voiced Velma in Scooby-Doo video games from 2002 to 2015. A fact I did not know until we started doing a deep dive into the cast.
Okay.
And we most recently saw her in Palm Royale.
Yes. Another good series.
That's on Apple Plus, and she played Anne Holiday. She was good in that.
Yeah, she was.
I hope that comes back for season 2.
I think it will.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, me too.
Anywho, moving on. Ashley Newbro plays, Jenna Whitaker. She is Shari's foster sister. Mm-hmm. She was in the Unwrapping Christmas collection, which consisted of 4 movies in 2024. Okay. And it's about 4 friends who work in the store all wrapped up, and each movie focuses on one friend. So it's sort of like this collection where each movie is focusing on one of the foster siblings. Right. It's kind of cool. She was also in Operation Nutcracker 2024 and Small Town Christmas in 2018. Yeah. For Hallmark.
All right.
Jake Epstein plays Josh Adler, another one of Shari's foster brothers. Mm-hmm. His Hearts Around the Table movie will be the next one in this collection, and that one is called Josh's Third Serving. So we're looking forward to that.
Yes, we
next
are.
Week. He was in 2 episodes of Mistletoe Murders as well. Okay. And we still need to watch that.
Yep.
Yep. You said, yep. He was actually in 3 of the 4 Unwrapping Christmas movies with Ashley.
Oh, my goodness.
Which is pretty cool.
Yes, it is.
He was in The Umbrella Academy. We never watched that one.
No, because you don't like those type of movies.
Netflix, I think.
Yeah, it's about
it's not really my jam, but it's popular.
Yeah,
Real popular. And Suits, 13 episodes of Suits.
Greenback Boogie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the song.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask you to sing it. Please don't sing it.
I'm going to eat a bean pie. Know what I mean?
Oh, boy. All right. Catherine Davis plays Kiki Mercer. She is another one of Shari's foster sisters. Mm-hmm. Her Hearts Around the Table movie will be the 4th and final one in this collection, and that airs in 2 weeks. It is Kiki's 4th ingredient. Ooh. And she was actually in all 4 of the Unwrapping Christmas movies also in 2024.
I like how they all work together.
Lots of crossover. They know each other. Hopefully they all like each other.
Comfortable acting around each other.
Justice James plays Rory, Angie's current teen foster son, and this is his very first acting gig.
Yay.
That's so cool.
Good for Rory.
So he's in, I'm sorry, this would be his second one because he was in the first. Right. So he's
his first series.
Right. His first
movie
series. Yeah. Of movies on Hallmark. Good so hopefully he'll be back. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Darlene Cook plays Lindsay James, Evan's grandma. Mm-hmm. She was in Hallmark's Napa Ever After in 2023 and Holiday Heritage in 2022.
Okay.
She was in 2 episodes of Mayor of Kingstown in 2021. Ooh, that's such a gritty, good TV show.
And what happened to him in real life? Oh, my goodness.
Ooh, yeah. Snowplow. Something ran over him, but he survived and had a long road to recovery and had to learn to walk again. And I mean, oof.
And then shot another series,
Jeremy
another
Renner.
season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good for him, man.
She's also been in several holiday movies for other production companies. So she has a couple dozen, I think, credits. Sorry.
Okay.
Gage Arbuthnot plays Kyle, one of Josh's athletes that Josh ends up helping during the movie. Okay. He was in Hallmark's A Veterans Christmas and Christmas at Grand Valley in 2018. And he was also in a series called Condor, which I'd never heard of.
Never heard of that either.
From 2018 to 2020. And he was in 13 episodes of that.
Wow. Hey, I got a trivia question for you.
Okay.
Just off the
Is this
here.
random? Are we randomly jumping into something?
Do you know when Hallmark was founded?
Drink some more wine. No.
Okay. It was founded
I was going to say yes, but I really don't.
1910 by Joyce Clyde Hall, who sold, get it, postcards in Kansas City.
Oh.
And they now employ over 20,000 people around the world.
Oh, wow. Isn't that crazy?
That is awesome.
That's very,
Especially
very cool.
1910.
1910. And it started with her
selling
postcards.
postcards in Kansas City to
Crazy.
people.
That's so cool. Look at you with the random Hallmark.
Yeah,
I had no idea that was coming right
I had to
now,
look it
which
up.
is
Hey,
great.
I'm full
You were
of
curious about it.
surprises. Surprise!
You are. Well, thank you for that little tidbit. Maybe every episode you should have like
That's
deep
a good
thoughts
idea.
by
Yeah.
Gary.
A little trivia question.
A little trivia question.
that we don't have to get right, but it would be pretty interesting to find out.
Well, we have to get it
about
right.
Hallmark, right?
What do you mean we don't have to get it right?
No, I'm saying if you don't know it offhand,
I am not going to know it offhand.
well,
Probably.
I'm not going
Correct.
to.
I know you're not.
I have to
yeah.
look this stuff up. I do not have that brain.
That was good. That was very good.
Yes.
Thank you for that little trivia question.
What was your first take on this?
Would you like for me to do the synopsis first?
Oh,
or
you know what?
see, you're all because you did your trivia.
Look, I did my trivia question.
You're done. You drink some
I had
wine.
a sip of wine, and I'm
You
just
did your trivia.
Look, we're at the end.
We're done.
Sorry. Yes. Let's drop the synopsis.
All righty, here we go. Shari just moved back to DC after a breakup and hopes to start painting again. Inspiration hits when she meets Evan, a repairman who winds up actually being a gallery owner. Shocking.
Shocking it is.
A repairman.
I know, right?
That ends up owning the gallery.
And Hallmark.
That she's renting from.
I know, right? Okay, now.
So surprised. Okay. Now.
What was your first take on this?
Overall, I enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I love that while all the foster kids are going to be in each of the 4 movies,
Mhm.
each one focuses on one
Right.
at a time. So we get to learn their story.
Yeah.
And so I really liked this one. I thought the premise of a marriage ending and then, heading back home to touch base with family and your old stomping grounds, it was so realistic in a lot of ways because
Yes.
a lot of people need that touch point for grounding
Mhm.
and for the momentum to move forward. So I just thought the story flowed really well
Yeah.
for the most part.
I thought
And
so
I
too.
enjoyed it. And of course, the Sunday suppers
Yes, love them.
are a key part of the series. And I think they were referenced more in this one than they actually participated in them.
Yes, I had.
So
was
I
gonna say
think
that
they
too.
just had the pizza,
Yeah.
the pizza night. So, but I
What
do, I
happened,
still like,
pizza?
I know,
What happened,
I still like the
pizza?
references of the Sunday suppers because, we used to have Sunday dinners with our crew
Mhm.
frequently. We tried to do it every Sunday when they were a little bit younger. And now that they're adults and really moved on and even out of state and not always around and working, it's harder to do. But we still try to occasionally do the Sunday dinners just to touch base with everybody because life moves fast.
It sure does.
So, what about you? What did you think?
Well, I too thought it flowed very well. And I really enjoyed how this episode, to me, seemed to focus a lot on life situations.
Mm-hmm.
You had mentioned divorce. There was a death, a young high school athlete whose mom passes away. His dad has to work all the time, and he has to take care
Yeah,
of his
they threw that in.
little
Mhm.
sister.
Yeah.
So I like that angle of the whole thing because it's pretty. I like how they do concentrate on one of the foster children, but then they sprinkle in the other ones
Yes.
throughout the show,
Yeah.
and that's what I enjoyed about this one.
Yeah. What were some of your favorite scenes then? Or favorite scene?
First
favorite
of all, did
scenes?
we know Shari was married in the first?
It's funny that you say that because I almost want to watch Jenna's First
yeah.
Love so that see if they referenced it. If they did, I missed it.
I missed it too.
I'd have to watch it again to see. I'm sure there was probably some indication
right,
that we missed.
but we missed it.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite scenes. Well, the first one obviously was the beginning when Shari gets off the plane, pushing her luggage around the airport. That's a lot of luggage. I don't know what's up with women, but us men, 1, 2 at the most.
That's your favorite part? Her pushing around all the luggage? No, I'm just kidding.
I like when she was on the phone and she was talking to Jenna, and Jenna was like, I'm not picking you up. That's supposed to be Josh. And then she gets Josh on the phone, so they're now on a 3-way call. And Josh is like, no, I told Jenna to pick you up. and then Jenna was like, no, I told you I can't pick her up. And then they get Kiki on the phone, so now it's a four-way. So they're going back and forth, and little does Shari know, they're waiting out in the parking, or not the parking lot, but out front of the
Right
airport
outside.
with a sign that says "Welcome home, Shari."
Shari, yeah, I agree. I had that down also as one of my
was
favorite
pretty
scenes.
cool.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And it's funny because it might not have been my brightest moment, but I was totally thinking they weren't showing up for her.
I know.
I mean, and like, duh, of course they, like I should have seen that coming, but I don't know what it was. Maybe we were tired that day, but I thought it was such a breath of fresh air. I loved starting the movie that way. Because that is the first thing I have written down under favorite scenes. Also, I just thought it was fun, and it really speaks volumes without saying a lot about their relationship as siblings, as foster siblings.
Yep.
So I really loved that scene.
Yes.
Also, it was like a breath of fresh air. It started off great. I love starting on a good vibe like that.
Yes. It was.
I do have to say though, in all honesty, do you know how mad I'd be if I was talking to even like one of the kids or like my sister? Even if they ended up showing up, I would probably not have handled it as well as Shari did when she thinks they're not coming. She's like, oh, no worries. I'll get an Uber, whatever. And she flew in from another country.
I know.
Like she didn't just,
Was it Switzerland? Something like that.
Or
Zurich.
Yeah, Zurich. So she didn't just come in from like, across the street.
No.
Like she flew in from another country and they're like, no, oops, we didn't have time. I might have something to say about that.
Yeah, no, carrying 7 luggage or pushing
me.
7 luggage.
And I'm sure if you ask our kids, they'd be like, oh yeah, you'd be real mad,
I know.
And I admit it. I own it. I wouldn't have been super happy.
You're honest about it.
Any other scenes that you really liked?
I liked the pizza scene too. Even though it was short, I just liked how
the dinner.
Yeah, when Angie goes, "We're having pizza tonight," and then Josh starts to dance, and he's like, "We're having pizza, we're having pizza,"
Yeah.
and then he says, "Get in my belly." I thought that was a nice little.
I thought that was really
scene.
cool too.
So.
I think I had that. I really liked the special scene between Angie and Shari, and it seems like each movie's going to have at least one where Angie is having a moment with one of the kids, and in this one, it was the sitting room, the place where Shari used to go, and she would sit and just like stare at the painting and just think, and where her and Angie would talk. And I like how Angie brings up, when you were here, this is where you would go. Like she always finds a way to bring in an example from when they lived with her. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When they were, and then we get we get Angie's words of wisdom. Like when she tells Shari, sometimes life gets so busy, we don't get to put our spirits first. Right. And I thought it was such a good way to phrase that, because I'm always like, you have to feed your soul. If you don't feed your soul, you're not going to be able to feed anyone else's soul. So if you have children or a spouse, so it's so important to take time to do what you love, whether it's reading a book, getting outside, getting whatever you like to do. Right. You have to feed that
inner
outlet.
peace.
Yeah. Well, not inner peace.
No, I understand what you're saying.
So
you just have to take time for yourself.
For yourself, yeah. Sometimes you have to do that. And people get so busy they forget. And then before you know it, it's, like you're at your wit's end and you don't mean to be, but you just haven't taken that time. So I really liked that scene.
Oh,
that was my favorite. And then I also had what you just mentioned, Josh kind of cracking me up about we're having pizza. Because they mentioned pizza and he just appears.
I know.
He's like, did someone say pizza? Yeah. And so I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, because she says something like, "You have big ears." And what did he say after that? He said something like, it's just my big brain pushing them
out of my head or something. Yeah, it was,
that was funny too.
It pushed them out of my head.
I really liked that. So what about Cheers? Or Cheers,
Cheers. I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to the beginning. Yes. We've already talked about that, but my biggest cheer was the beginning. I just thought it was adorable. I loved starting the movie off on such a fun note. I thought it was great. And then my other cheer would be just the common themes throughout the movie so far, and what I presume will be probably in the next two to come. The Sunday suppers, obviously.
Right.
who has to do the dishes after.
I know, that's
which
funny.
is
That's funny.
that, and that happened in the first one and this one. And I think that's funny because that happens with
with our kids,
with
and
our
stuff.
crew, right? They fight over, that we cook, and then we're like, hey, you have to do the dishes. And they're
Right.
like,
I know. They're getting a free meal.
the boys are going to do it. The girls have to do it. They never do, and they're in their 20s and they still, they do it, but it's like, I don't like they're lucky they even have a dishwasher.
I know.
Like when I was growing up,
We had to
way
hand
back
one.
when, we didn't even have a dishwasher.
Thanksgiving dinners. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Christmas dinners.
Oh, and you remember
Excuse me.
like
Oh
putting
my
the
gosh.
water in the sink
Oh
and
my
letting
God.
that disgusts me now.
yes.
But when you think about it, that's how everybody washed their dishes.
Maybe that's why we didn't get as sick back then, because we were just
you filled the sink up and then
Yes.
with soap, and then you would
yes.
wash the dish in it, and it did, you might change it if you had some meat or something. I don't know, but it was like, now thinking about it's so disgusting.
It was.
Anywho,
It was very disgusting.
so those are my two biggest cheers. How about you?
Mine. It was funny because we're kind of opposite. You touched on how they sat on the couch and gave advice. That was one of my biggest cheers, because I always felt like Angie would guide them along, give them a good piece of advice, and then let them figure out the
Go
rest
with
of
it.
it. Right.
Yes.
Take it and run.
Yes.
Like when, Shari, she was facing the divorce, and then she was facing the fact that was she moving too fast in the relationship with Evan? Mm-hmm. And so she was kind of fighting herself back and forth with that. And I also liked Josh's bit of advice that she gave him with Kyle, because he didn't understand why Kyle wasn't showing up for practice. And she had asked him, well, did you talk to him about what's going on off of the track field? And he kind of was like, oh.
Right. That was pretty profound.
And so I think that's pretty cool that, coaches not only care about the children on the field, but also off the field.
Right. And it seems like that's where that's going to go, maybe.
Yeah.
For Josh's episode.
I think so. It's going to be a big part.
She said something to him like, kids don't always want answers. They just want someone to show up.
Right.
And that's very
true.
true.
That's true.
Yeah, that's very true also. Yeah, she had some heartfelts with him too.
So that was my two biggest cheers.
What about jeers? You got a jeer? More than
Yes,
one
I
jeer?
do.
Okay, that was a big sigh. Okay.
I have a couple.
I'm going to take a swig real quick. While you...
I know, right? I need to take one too.
My frunk.
But
frunk.
I'm upset that Evan didn't get his Sunday supper on. He didn't get one. He didn't get a sit down.
I didn't even think about that.
Yes.
You're correct.
Come on. But like you said, they touched on it like several times throughout the whole episode.
Well, there's the scene where
movie.
the three are
You're
cutting up vegetables.
Prepping,
They're
yes.
prepping, and it's Shari, Jenna, and Kiki, and
the other one was during the auction. Like, come on, this dude's gonna outbid you for a painting that he has no, emotional attachment to. I thought that was kind of a weird
you
scene.
just thought it didn't work really.
Because he was sitting in the back smirking like, I'm outbidding
he paid
you.
like $10,000.
Let me drop another Benjamin
for that, and his yeah. It would have been cool if he would have ended up being someone who had a crush on his grandma or something, like when they were younger.
That would have been a good.
It's like I knew that was her because she wasn't a famous art. I mean, she was an artist, but not a famous artist.
Right.
So yeah, no, I get it.
So what about you? What did you have?
I don't know if you'll agree with this or not, but the chemistry between Shari and Evan, I felt like it worked in the beginning, like when he was the repairman, and then she doesn't know he owns the building, and she's like, "Oh, you dress up nice," when he wears a fancy suit or
drives a Mercedes.
Yeah, I mean, she's kind of like, "Whoa, okay," Not that she's attracted to the money, but she is kind of not expecting that because she's only seen him as a repairman.
Right.
So I thought that worked, but then it was like sort of towards the end, the chemistry just didn't vibe for me.
Yeah.
There was something just off about it. And like when, she starts freaking out because she doesn't know what to do and he calms her down. I thought that was really good. He kind of kept her centered and everything. But then when he freaks out after the paint, it was like,
What's going on here?
Something just didn't. It just didn't work for me towards the end. I feel badly because I liked both of them individually.
Yes.
But it just seemed more like a really good friendship by the end, as opposed to the romantic chemistry that I was looking for.
And that's funny you said that, because I felt the same way.
Yeah.
Like there were some scenes that really didn't make sense. Like, why is she so upset when all he was trying to do was, help her get through the divorce, get back on her feet. But then when Kiki had talked to Shari about, you're moving way too fast, and then she gets that in her head, and then she's like,
well, but I also felt like the Kiki thing, I'm glad you brought that up. That was in my notes, not in this one, but that she, at one, Kiki's like, oh, he's really cute. She's kind of pushing the relationship at first. And then she goes, you're moving way too fast. Right. I thought that was weird too. I don't know. I mean, I know people can change their minds. So
I agree with you on that
so,
one.
And like you were saying, the phone call between Shari and her ex.
Yeah, that was another one.
I felt like that didn't really work either. Like he really liked her. What did he say? Maybe, what was the phrase? I don't know. When they're talking.
Yeah, he said something like, we were good, right?
We were good, right? Like he's kind of trying to, and I get it. They were married and they had a relationship, and then she starts to get all worked up during the phone call. Yeah. And then all of a sudden she calms down. She's like, we shouldn't be together. I just thought that it was.
They didn't even need to have that in the movie.
No, I don't even understand that unless they were just trying to show not having her ex in it at all, but they didn't really need to.
They did not.
And I mean, I'm not bashing the actor. He's fine. Whoever played
but it didn't work, and it seemed out of place.
It just didn't fit with the vibe of that part
Especially
of the movie.
Especially that green screen they had.
Yeah, yeah. So that would be my biggest jeer.
Yes.
I
had that down too. I just thought that was out of place at that particular time in the movie, and they didn't need it to move the movie along.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
do you have any other by the ways, or do you want to move on to review? See what we rank corks.
No, I did have a couple.
You always have something. I can tell when you have something in your mind.
Because you're like chomping at.
All right, go ahead. No,
I just like the concept of the artist co-op apartment. I thought.
Oh yeah, that was a pretty cool
idea.
That was a cool idea. Yeah, I agree with that.
I wanted to mention that because to go back on Shari, when she was going through her mood swing, so to speak, she was on the couch in the foster home, and she looks up and she sees the painting that's been there this whole time, right?
Oh, right, and then
it's one of Lindsay's paintings,
right?
And then when Evan comes over and they make up, she shows him the painting, and he was like, "Oh my God, you found one, great!" And then they put it in the co-op. And then they surprise his grandma
with it, right?
I thought that was a nice scene.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there were some really great elements throughout the movie. For me, it was really just about the chemistry.
Right. Which
towards the end.
Yeah.
I
understand. So let's go ahead and rate it. How many corks would you give this one?
I would give this one a solid 4 corks.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you. I'm going with 4 too.
Yeah, only because the chemistry thing kind of bothered me. It was good. I enjoyed it. Yes. There was nothing that I hated about it or, thought it was like, oh, it kind of really fell short like some of them do.
Right.
But yeah, I would give it a solid 4.
Me too. I just didn't like the way the scene in the middle, they just weren't.
It didn't work.
They weren't going together, so...
I got you.
So is that a wrap on this one?
That's a wrap, I
think. Our
think.
number 10.
Our 10th, our first double digit.
Cheers on that.
There you go.
Well, thanks for listening. Be sure to follow the podcast wherever you listen so you don't miss one. Also, follow us on social media. If you really, really like the show and are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave a 5-star review. And if you didn't really, really like the show, you know what? You can leave a 5-star review anyway.
Just do it. Just do it. Be like Nike and just do it.
That's right.
Join us next Wednesday for our review of the third Hearts Around the Table movie, Josh's Third Serving, which airs Saturday night, April 5th, 2025 on the Hallmark Channel and streams the next day on Hallmark Plus.
Woo!
You can also now join us on Tuesdays for
Yes.
our reviews of Hallmark series. And we are currently reviewing The Chicken Sisters.
Chicken Sisters.
Chicken Sisters. Until then, fill up your glasses and push play. Thanks for listening. Cheers.